Hello and welcome to FLW TV. Today we've got the Club Takeover show and I'm delighted to be joined by Neil Littlewood, big Coventry City fan and member of the What's the Correct podcast. Neil, how are we today?
Really good, mate. Thanks for having us on, Sam.
Not a problem at all. Neil, do you want to explain a little bit more about the What's the Correct podcast before we get into it?
Yeah, can do, mate. We're just a bunch of lads who get together and have a chat about football more than anything. Got a few interviews with ex-pros and stuff. Started off as mainly Cov fans, but exclusive for you, we drop an interview with Carl Dickinson today, the former Port Vale Stoke defender. That's live at 5. So if anyone wants to go and listen, my handle's there to go and find our podcast. Give it a listen if you want.
Yeah, definitely worth checking out. But let's get into today's show on Football League Wide TV. We're going to be talking about Coventry City. It's been a really, really positive start for the Sky Blues in the Championship so far this season. First of all, Neil, we're going to talk about the expectations heading into this campaign. So it was a 16th place finish last season for Mark Robins and the Sky Blues. How are you feeling heading into this campaign? Obviously, this campaign being a special one for Coventry City fans, given your return to your home, the Coventry Building Society Arena, as it is now known. Neil, what were your expectations heading into this campaign?
I think looking at the recruitment that we did in the summer, the players that moved on and the way they were replaced, we improved every single area. That being said, there was some great recruitment done across the division. You look at Birmingham, Luton, for instance, sides that were lower down that recruited well. I think a lot of Cov fans would agree with me here and say we would have happily snapped your hand off to 16th again. Given our start to the season, I think, top table's potentially doable, but definitely didn't expect anything more than what we did last season. I'll be honest with you, if you would have offered me staying up on goal difference, I'd snap your hand off again.
Absolutely. So, we'll touch on the start of the season. 4 wins and 2 defeats so far for the Sky Blues. You must be delighted with the start to this season, surely.
It's been unreal. Even the 2 games we've lost, Barnsley away, missed a last-minute penalty, and Barnsley fans won't like it, but that's their goal come against the run of play. We outplayed them. QPR, again, we were the better side for the first hour, and then the game changed. They bring Dykes on and changes the game. So the games we've lost, we've been in. So yeah, we're ecstatic with the start we've had. 100% record at home. Getting the win away. Blackpool like we did, what a night that was. He's been an absolutely brilliant start to the season.
Yes, it appears from the outside that Mark Robins seems to have got that system set in stone. We've seen him play this 3-4-1-2 sort of formation on most games so far in the Championship. What do you think is the secret to this early season success? Do you think it is the fact that he started to get this settled side? We've seen it's been a relatively consistent starting 11 in a fair few of the games. What do you reckon the secret is?
I think there's a few things, if I'm honest, Sam. One thing I think is self-belief more than anything. I think last season we kept a lot of the players that got us promoted from League One, and I think subconsciously they may have been thinking, "Are we good enough for this step? Are we capable?" And the fact that we stayed up as comfortably as we did, I think a lot of them are now going in saying, "Well, do you know what? I actually belong at this level," and they've been able to express themselves. We struggled with injuries a lot last year. Dabo, our right wing back, was injured quite a lot. Matty Godden was our top scorer in League One. Missed a lot of last season. And obviously we brought the players in now that we've got that squad depth that those injuries wouldn't affect us this season. So I think that's helped. I've got to take your hat off to Mark Robins, AD Vivash, and Lawrence, the new coach who's come in. Everything just feels like it's clicking at the minute. I can't put my finger on one thing that I think is the difference. I genuinely think, the feel around the club at the minute, and any Cov fan would agree with me, is just phenomenal. It just feels like everything's just kind of falling into place a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's a weird one, isn't it? Because you look at that starting 11. I mean, yes, there are a couple of new additions, isn't there? Obviously, the two strikers, which we're going to touch on later, new goalkeeper in as well. But kind of, the spine of that team is almost the same, isn't it? You got, Gustavo Hamer, Ben Sheaf, Callum O'Hare. There's a lot of players that were there last season.
Yeah,
it just does seem to have really clicked, isn't it? Right, let's touch on being at home in the stadium next. I was at the Coventry Building Society Arena a couple of weeks ago as a Reading supporter in the away end, and I must admit, I know, yeah, not a great result for myself. But, in terms of home support, I've got to say it's some of the best home fans I've seen in years in the Championship. The atmosphere was fantastic. I mean, Neil, how does it feel as a Coventry City fan to be back in your home stadium and not having to travel to St Andrews every other week?
Do you know what, mate? Being a Cov fan, we have this conversation all the time about, you got dragged to Northampton, you got dragged to Birmingham, how is it, sort of thing. And for the last 10 years, we have been through the ringer as fans, down to League Two, back up to the Championship, couple of Wembley visits along the way. It's been an absolute roller coaster. So when the announcement was made that we were coming home, yeah, fair enough, we don't own the stadium, so what? We're back playing in Cov. And I think what's happened is the fan base have gone, do you know what? Forget the politics. Forget what's gone on in the past. Let's just get behind the lads because they're playing some fantastic stuff. You said it yourself there. The atmosphere was unreal. I think the Reading game, we sang Twist and Shout for about 15, 20 minutes. And it's just, you can see it in the players as well. Hamer comes over and takes corners in front of where I sit, and you can see he's G'ing the crowd up. You can see it really makes a difference. I went over to St Andrews. I enjoyed it. Birmingham were great to us, but it wasn't home. It felt weird. I live in Coventry, not far from, I still call it the Rico, from the CBS. I used to drive past it, once or twice a week, and it used to hurt. That's a stadium that we should be playing in. We should be playing in the city that bears our name. I'm wearing the City of Culture shirt now. 2021 Coventry City of Culture. How can the football club not be in the city? So for it all to come together and us to be back there, we've got the club shop back there, which sounds daft. That was in a shopping centre down the road. It just, everything felt so disconnected. To now, everything be back. It's like I was trying to explain it to a mate of mine the other day. Do you know when you've been on holiday and you get back and you're dreading getting back, but when you get home, you're like, I've got my own comforts. I quite like being home again. It's a bit like that. I love Birmingham. It was brilliant. Every day was an away day, but I missed my seat. I missed just those. I'll park at a local rugby club. Miss seeing those faces, bumping into the same people. Just those home comforts of being at home. And then again, the attendances of Rockethead. We had like 6,000 or 7,000 at St Andrews. We had 18,000 there on Saturday, so that's much better as well.
Yeah, like you say, it's the whole match day experience, isn't it? Being back, and it's just a feel good factor around the whole of the club. It seems right now, which is fantastic to see for everyone. Right, let's touch on some of the last minute winners because it's become a little bit of a trend, hasn't it, with the Sky Blues so far this campaign. Obviously, I was there as a Reading fan. I experienced a last-minute Coventry winner first-hand in person, but it's like I said, it's not the first time we've seen it this season. We saw it against Nottingham Forest as well, right at the death. Neil, what does this? It must show that the character and the desire within that team to be able to do this, because it seemed, when I was there, it was wave after wave of Coventry attack. There's no letting up at all, was there?
No, and we've been like that. And let's not forget, we scored our second goal in the 92nd minute on Saturday as well at Borough to kill the game. So that's 3 home games, 3 goals in stoppage time. Anyone who's been a Cov fan longer than 5 years will tell you, Cov used to throw away games in injury time. So it's nice being on the other end of it, I must admit. Obviously, it weren't great for yourself, and Matty got to slam that in. And the commentary from your commentary team's gone viral with the, oh no, it was brilliant. But yeah, I think, there is that togetherness. I think we as fans helped that in as well, especially the Forest game, especially. We went 1-0 down and no one head dropped. No one got. There was no boos. There was no shouting from the crowd. If anything, we just started singing again. And as the words go in the Coventry song, we fight till the game is won. And we have every single home game, against your boys included. 98th minute, I think it was, with Matty's goal. I've seen people leaving early, and I just think, I've never left the game early, but I think especially at the minute, how can you leave a game early with the way things are going? And I do feel that as fans, we've kind of helped drag that goal in. We've got behind the players, G'd them up that little bit, and you can see it in their performance as well. The way they celebrate with the crowd. Yeah, again, it's that togetherness without being cliche. It's because there's such a good feeling. I have that belief in the stands that they're going to score. So surely that must transpire onto the pitch, and they must feel it too.
Yeah, I mean, you certainly get the vibe them Sky Blues players want to play at home. That there are some players that don't necessarily want to play at home, in fear of being booed or whatever, but they just seem to be loving it right now, which is testament to the club as a whole. Let's touch on two of your better performing players in the early advances of this campaign. So, two summer additions in Victor Gyokeres and Martin Waghorn have certainly impressed in these early stages. Waghorn, of course, was at Derby County last season, and Gyokeres did have a spell at Coventry last term on loan, and them two have formed quite a partnership up front. What have you made of them so far, Neil?
Love them. Waghorn came in with this marquee signing, number 9 shirt, probably the highest earner, and a proven championship footballer. Probably one of the first championship players Coventry have signed in a long time. We seem to have this habit of either getting young kids in on loan or signing players from lower leagues. So to actually sign an established championship footballer was a bit of a coup for us. And you can see that he's got that quality. I was so over the moon when he scored on Saturday, just to kind of get that first goal out of the way. Took it really well. But his link up with Vic's been brilliant. Vic, when we signed him last season on loan, he'd been at Swansea early on in the year. And when we signed him, I remember looking at Twitter and Swansea fans were saying, cheers, lads, got him off our hands. But completely different player. From what I've seen, they played him out wide quite a lot. Now, how he plays for us through the middle, quite central, holds the ball up well. Any kid who wants to learn how to play a centre-forward role, watch Vic against Blackpool. It was the most complete centre-forward performance I've ever seen. He was dominant with his back to goal. And when he started running, Richard Keogh, bless him, didn't know where to go. He seems to get himself in great positions. He's hit the bar, woodwork 3 times, I think, so far this season. Scored 3, created another 2. He's easily been our best signing. But again, the link up between them, Vic set up Waghorn's goal on Saturday, and you can see it. Sometimes with similar, I've heard some Cov fans say they think they're a bit similar because they can both hold a ball up well, but I just think they complement each other really well. They don't make the same sort of runs. They kind of drop off a little bit, and excuse me, I think they're a lethal strike force, which can really do damage in this division.
Yeah, like you say, Gyokeres certainly strikes me as a player that's got lots of different attributes that work well together. He's quite an all-round striker, isn't he? And the fact that he can hold the ball up, but he also can run in behind, like we saw on the weekend as well. And he seems quite intelligent in his movement and his positioning in the final third, which is great. Let's touch on Waghorn then again. Like you say, he is a player that we know can do it at this level. I mean, have you been impressed with his early start to life at Coventry?
Personally, yes. I know some fans haven't. I think coming in with that reputation and the fact that, he's the marquee signing, he's got Max Biamu's number 9 shirt, and everyone at Cov loves Max for what he's done for the club. So I think a lot of people are a little bit sceptical. QPR, I was stood next to a guy who was just not having him at all, and I personally think that was his best game he had for us, but it's opinions, isn't it? He works hard. You can see on Saturday he tried some really intelligent through balls. Some worked, some didn't. But what I like about him is he doesn't stop. His head doesn't drop. I've seen a lot of players over the years that have tried to do something. If it doesn't work, their head drops. Connor Chaplin's one when we had him. I liked Connor. I thought he was a great footballer, but he tried something. If it didn't work, you could see it really affected him. Whereas Waghorn hasn't let that happen. Barnsley game, we missed the last-minute penalty, which Vic took and missed. And a lot of people were saying, oh, Waghorn should have took it, Waghorn should have took it. And he came out on social media afterwards and kind of explained the decision, which I don't think he had to do. But I think that says a lot about his character and how he's brought into the football club as a whole, that he's gone, I'm committed and I want to do it. So I've got a lot of time for him. I think the way we play, I think we can play to his strengths. I can see him getting double figures quite easily this season.
Yeah, definitely got it in him, hasn't he? Let's just touch on finally on your strikers. Obviously, you got Tyler Walker and Matty Godden in the fold as well. What do you think this early season form from Gyokeres and Waghorn means for them two? Is it the fact that them two can come off the bench in the 70th, 75th minute and impact a game, or are you a little bit concerned as to how much game time they're actually going to get?
Well, Matty Godden, I think, is probably the best natural finishers potentially in the division, especially at Coventry. And I think his role is exactly what happened against Reading, where he comes on and he's got 20 minutes just to kind of throw himself about and get himself in the right place, which he did. I think that's kind of where he is now. We tried it again at QPR. He's come on last 20 minutes, just couldn't quite get into the game. I think they all offer something different. Yeah. Each of them has their own different attributes. So I think what we've got is not a sort of hierarchy, as it were. I think there's, without the cliche, horses for courses. I think certain games will suit Tyler Walker, certain games will suit Waghorn, certain games will suit Godden, etc. So I can see rotation as we start getting into the thick of the season. But I think if I'm giving you my starting 11 now, I'm starting Vic and Waghorn every day of the week.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to have them options available, though, isn't it? To be able to rotate, especially in the winter when injuries start to rack up. Let's touch on another one of your new signings. We saw Ian Matson arrive from Chelsea in the summer on a season-long loan deal. Obviously, he was at Charlton Athletic last term and enjoyed a fruitful loan stint at the Valley. He's made a promising start at Coventry as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, we love him, the Flying Dutchman. Youngest lad I've ever known called Ian as well, but that's one of them. I love him. I think he's brilliant. Great going forward, strong in the tackle. He doesn't mind throwing himself about there. Quite intelligent with the ball as well. Obviously, we had Sam Mccallum last season, and obviously he's on QPR this year. Great left back. Good going forward. We had Ryan Giles, who's now at Cardiff, last season and the season before as well. So we've been blessed with some good left wing backs the last couple of years. But I think Matson's up there. He works hard. He's not afraid to get forward. If there was a criticism, he needs to work on his final ball a little bit. His delivery sometimes leaves a lot to be desired. But he's a young kid learning the game, so I'm not going to kind of criticise him too much. And I think he could have had 2 or 3 goals this season as well. He just lacks that little bit of composure. But I suppose as a left back, you kind of expect to find yourselves in those positions, as it were. So great addition. And now we've got Clark Salter in on loan as well from Chelsea, who's the left centre back kind of alongside him. You can see that they've got that sort of connection, and I think that will help him massively. So I'm really intrigued to see how he gets on for the rest of the season as well.
Yeah, I mean, that back line's really coming together now. We look at the other side of the defence from Kati Dabo. He's really come on at right back as well. Some really energetic driving runs down that right flank, certainly in the game that I saw him against Reading. Just how much has he come on at Coventry City in the last season or two?
Unreal. I remember when we signed him, again from Chelsea, AD Vivas used to be part of their youth setup, so obviously we've got a little bit of intel, as it were. But he come in and no one really knew who he was. He was a bit, I don't want to say reckless, but was wild. I think it's probably a better adjective. The first few games, but he really grown into it. And as you said, those energetic runs down the right hand side. He's had to fill in at centre half a couple of times this season, and he looks quite capable there. But I think that really nullifies his game. He gets forward so well. He helped create Waghorn's goal on Saturday. Went to left wing back when Maatsen went off, and he's shown he's just as capable on the left hand side. Like you say, strong, powerful, energetic, good delivery on him. And yeah, I think he got named in the Championship Team of the Week this year, and very well deserved. He was phenomenal on Saturday, and I think he's the first name on the team sheet pretty much at the minute.
Yeah, it's very, very, very impressive start to the season for Dabo for sure. Let's touch on another one of your summer signings briefly. We saw Simon Moore arrive over the summer. What have you made of his start to life at Coventry?
Oh, what a signing. What a signing. I was sceptical when we signed him. Well, I feel like we've always had number twos. So we had Ben Wilson, Stockdale coming on loan. Morosi was good, but he got injured. You see it affect his confidence. So, and then before that, we had a couple of seasons of Lee Burge getting rotated around, and just kind of mistake after mistake. And we really, it was the one position that I said in the close season we needed to improve on. And then I seen we signed Simon Moore, and I was a bit, like I say, skeptical. Again, been a number two at Sheffield United. He's 31. So I thought, is it the right move? He's been phenomenal. I don't know if you've seen the triple save from Saturday, but just unreal. He commands the box so well. He made a save at QPR from a free kick from Elisha that he had no right to make. The second goal QPR scored as well. He's made a great save from your man's long shot. He's been brilliant. Like I say, commands his box. He's really vocal. Great shot stopper. His distribution as well. He doesn't rush. We like to play out from the back quite a lot. But with the fullbacks that we've mentioned before, kind of use them. McFadzean as a sort of anchor holds in front of him, but he doesn't rush anything. He's quite happy to tell his defenders, no, you're not having it, and kind of dictate the play a little bit. So, brilliant signing.
Yeah, he just seems a very steady set of hands in between the sticks for Coventry, and it almost makes you wonder how, he stayed at Sheffield United for so long as a number two. What could have been had he left a little bit earlier? But fair play to him. He's really enjoyed himself at Coventry, which is good to see. Right, let's touch on one of arguably your best players. Callum O'Hare, a very, very important cog in Mark Robins' 11 and has been for the last few seasons now. Just how good is he, Neil, and how good do you think he can be, and what is his ceiling?
Sam, we don't call him the Solly or Messi for nothing, mate. What a boy! What a boy! I remember when we signed him, I was like, we signed a young lad from Villa. Is he really going to buy into playing for Coventry City? And then he got the cut on his head. I think it was against Portsmouth, bandage on, carried on playing, showing a bit of heart. And I was like, I like this kid. His feet are phenomenal. He's so clever. So he uses his body well to get fouls. Barnsley fans thought he went down too easily at their game. He got fouled 9 times, I think, against Barnsley. We thought he was going to get kicked all over the place against Middlesbrough as well, being a Warnock side. He does get fouled a lot, but it's because, those flair players do. He's got the little tricks. He's got the little flicks. He's got a great range of passing. One thing, if I need to be critical, he needs to add some goals to his game. He's missed some glorious chances this season. Yeah, he had a double chance against you boys at the opposite end to where you were. He's hit the one shot, the keeper saved it, and he had about 20 minutes to kind of take the second shot, but he's rushed it. I think he just lacks a little bit of composure in the final third. Sometimes he tries to do a little bit too much. But look, he's a breath of fresh air. He's one of those players that when he gets going, it's the edge of your seat sort of player. You don't know what he's going to do next, and it's exciting to see. I generally think he will have a great career in the game, whether that's with us or he moves on. He will play Premier League football at some point. I think that's a given. As soon as he adds those goals to his game, as much as I want to see it in a Coventry shirt, I know that will probably be the start of the end of him in a Coventry shirt, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. A really, really talented player. Do you think him playing in that pocket just behind Gyokeres and Waghorn is kind of the ideal position for him?
Yeah, 100%. If not a little bit wider. I don't want to make the obvious comparison because he has his socks low and he's got the long hair and played for Villa as the new Jack Grealish, as some people did. But he is very similar in how he plays. And if he goes on to develop it in a similar sort of way, then what a player we've got on our hands. But yeah, that pocket space in the 10, it allows him to get the ball in space, run at defenders, thread those little balls through for the strikers. Especially the League One season, Godwin thrived off him. So yeah, I think that's the perfect place for him, and I genuinely believe that the system we play is to kind of work around him a little bit as well. I think he's that integral to what we do.
Yeah, massive player for Coventry, for sure. Let's touch on another fan favourite. I think it's fair to call Gustavo Hamer a fan favourite. I mean, given I was at the game, I think you didn't stop chanting about him for at least. Yeah, he's been a massive player for you, hasn't he, since he's arrived?
Oh, phenomenal player! I think he's the first £1 million player that Cov purchased since Freddie Eastwood. In 2008, I think that was. What a player! Scores 35-yard headers against Ben Foster on the GoPro. Which was brilliant. But yeah, he loves the tackle. He's got a great range of passing. He makes that sort of, we kind of play him in a sort of CDM role alongside Ben Sheaf. And he just makes it look so easy. Just the way he sprays passes out to the wing backs getting forward, his energy is unreal. He just doesn't stop running. That's one thing I've noticed about him. Just doesn't stop running. Again, I think he could do with adding a few more goals to his game. He tried having a shot on Saturday from like 20 yards inside our own half. He's not scared to kind of try things. But yeah, he is somewhat special. There was rumours that Rangers were sniffing around him, and you could see a manager like Steven Gerrard with Gary McAllister alongside him could really, really do wonders for that lad's career. So I hope they don't ever look at him again, because I want him to stay at Coventry as long as possible.
Yeah, he strikes me as a player that you'd really want in your team. You know, he's that sagacious sort of player in the middle of the park, a bit of a kind of pitbull almost. But like you say, at the same time, he's got that elegance in the fact that he can spray a ball 40 yards perfectly, and his passing range is spot on, isn't it?
It really infuriates me sometimes because there's times where you think, just play the easy pass. And then he wins the ball back and then sprays a 60-yard ball that, like you say, the player doesn't have to break stride for. You just think, yeah, right, Gus, I'll just sit here with my pie and keep my mouth shut because you obviously know what you're doing. But yeah, he's a phenomenal player. He was a bit hot-headed when he first started. I remember funnily enough, he made his debut against Rangers in the pre-season friendly and got booked after like 8 minutes. Who gets booked in a pre-season friendly? I think that kind of shows his tenacity. He got sent off at Bournemouth as well, at home to Bournemouth last season as well, kind of flying into tackles. So he kind of curbed that side a little bit, and he controls it now. I think he should have got sent off on Saturday, if I'm honest, for a 50-50. But again, he's not scared to kind of get himself in those positions, and then you then flip that switch, and you've got the creative, the flair. He's some player.
Yeah, serious player for sure. Right, let's touch on your next championship fixture. Right, we're going to wrap up this week's Coventry City fan takeover show with a look ahead to your next fixture against Cardiff City on Wednesday. Neil, how are we feeling ahead of this one? Are we confident?
I think we have to be confident. 100% record at home. We've beat some good sides at home as well. Yourself, you guys showing what you could do at the weekend against QPR. beating Borough, good physical side. I think Cardiff will be buoyed at the fact they've come from behind to beat Forest yesterday. But I think we win. We've got the momentum around the place at the minute. Confidence is high. You know, we come off the back of a good professional performance on Saturday. I think as a neutral, if you've got a way of watching that game, I think it would be a fantastic game to watch if your side's not playing on Wednesday night. But yeah, I'm a little bit nervous because, you know, Cardiff one of those sides, didn't they? Big Kiefer Moore, Ryan Giles come back and bite us on the backside. You know, they've got those big centre halves in Flint. You know, they're not a bad side, and they'll be there or thereabouts coming into the season. So I think this is a real acid test for ourselves, just to kind of see exactly where we are. But I think momentum kind of gets us over the line on Wednesday night.
Right, let's get your definitive score prediction then, Neil, for the game.
2-1, 93rd minute winner, because, hey, that's what we do.
It's what you do. It's what you do. Right, that wraps up this week's episode of the Coventry City Fan Takeover Show. Neil, thanks so much for joining us this lunchtime. It really, really is appreciated, and we'll definitely catch up soon. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Please do subscribe to FLW TV on YouTube, and also check out the What's the Crack podcast that Neil is involved in. Definitely worth a visit. But thanks, everyone, for watching, and we'll see you soon.